Hello. I don't think I redid the thumbnail. So I am back. I have returned. Oh my goodness, that was not what I thought it would be. So I was under the impression that I would go help some people move some stuff in a minute. But my mom was like, no, like they're outside right now. And then I ended up going to the store with my grandma, and I'm just now getting back home. I'm just like, what is today? I did not think this would happen, but it's fine. I'm not going to complain about spending time with my grandmother because I'll enjoy it while I have it, right? Oh. But anyway, back to this. Try to salvage this. This deck is interesting because I have no clue what's going on. Ew, a hair. So it would appear to me that there's some like ancestral stuff going down. Some ancestral happenings are happening. Oh, got a little fireball. I'm trying to finish it, so. I don't want to put this earring in my ear. I haven't worn earrings in a few weeks now. I don't know if it's been an entire month. So something very like ancestral, I guess, is happening and going on. Even not the first time, but that one time I used the All Winter Oracle. Yeah, there we go. I'll put it in my other ear so you can see it. When I used the All Winter Oracle, the ancestors were at the top. The last time there was like an ancestral energy. This time, I don't know why. When I was on the way home, for some reason, it felt ancestral. But we'll see. I'll shuffle these back in. I'll try again. We'll see what's up. Or I could ask Siri. No, I'm going to ask Siri. I think that was pretty, like, the environment is shifting. Also, earlier today, I was thinking why is Libra getting it so tough? From me. And I really feel like it just feels like the magnitude of the change that we're in right now is not something that is necessarily well suited to Libra or Libran energy, because Libran energy is so much, really, to me, like Libra is temperance, where it's about balancing. It's kind of sort of about maintaining the status quo. It's about things not shifting too much and like being able to go back to the center. It's like how the scales are always accounting for weight that's added to the other side, because as soon as weight is added, it'll either raise or lower. Like one side of the scale will lower, the other side will raise. So it's always doing this type of thing, right? But it's like, it's almost like we need to put a bunch of weight on one side of the scale and we need the scale to not move. We need to drastically change one side and have it maintain its position, and scales don't work in that way. And so that's why I think it may be a huge challenge for Libra. Or at least that's how I justify it to myself. I was going to say to myself. All right, let's try this again. I'm actually going to pull the cards first, and then I'll pull the All Winter Oracle. So Matt, round 2, hopefully uninterrupted this time. I really thought, I don't know what I thought. And then I didn't even take my phone, so I couldn't even be like, send a message and be like, hey, like, probably not going to be back for a while. But it's fine. It is fine. Oh, are you fine? I'm going to get a card to see how am I. How is Patrick? We're going to pull this one. The Empress. Okay. This Empress has this. Look how wide the hilt or the cross guard on that sword is. It is unnecessarily wide. Why is it that wide? I don't know. And then this has to be the 6. Well, it could be. I think it'd be the 6 of charisma at the bottom of the deck, followed by the 8. So I guess Patrick is good. Because it feels like there is a sort of like emergence here. Like coming out of the dark into the city of light. There's also this camaraderie happening there. Let's see. I still wish these actually told you like what suit they belong to, but it's fine. Realizing your capacity to express your beauty and to nurture others from a place of power is the Empress. To nurture others from a place of power is interesting. You encounter the Queen of a Nation with an important mission for you. I got a 6 and an 8. That's probably the 8 of strength because it's like an 8 of wands energy, I guess. Yeah, it is. It's the 8 of strength. Going with the flow and adapting to change. Hold the goal loosely and enjoy the journey. During a lightning storm, the adventurers see an entrance to a cavern. It is home to a coven of hags. And then we got these people in here. These are the hags. Not how I typically imagine the hag, but you know, stereotypes, right? So, yeah, this is the 6 of charisma. If I look at what's happening in the card, I can probably guess. But I tried to do that last time, and it didn't really work. Hey, Matthew, how are you doing? How are you? How are you? Yep, the 6 of charisma, giving and receiving fully while not sacrificing your values or exhausting your energy. An old mariner tells you the precise location of a legendary shipwreck off the coast. Ooh, Letty! Giving and receiving fully while not sacrificing your values or exhausting your energy. Love that, especially with the Empress. Because it said nurturing from a place of power, giving and receiving fully with no compromise or exhaustion. And then this one again, which was about, I already forget. Going with the flow and adapting to change. Hold the goal loosely and enjoy the journey. That's pretty accurate for the place I'm trying to reach in life. I'm in this weird, like, go with the flow / also make a move, take a step energy. Like, I want to do something that I'm passionate about. I want to do something adventurous. I guess I am doing that here in a few days now. In 48 hours, roughly, I'll be on a plane. But at the same time, still being open to the flow. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll discover something in the UK or around that time where I'm like, you know what? I want to do this. Maybe I'll look for a job while I'm over there. I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming back. So sorry. Recap? Oh, we haven't really started yet. Um, I was saying something, and then I was like, "What's up with Patrick?" And then I just pulled a few cards, and that was it. So the Knight of Charisma just flipped over again. This was the Knight of Charisma that we saw yesterday. The one that spread the rumor. And then this is the other Knight. The Knight of Wisdom that came out to clarify the Knight of Charisma. It was at the bottom of the deck. This deck might be a little hard to read. If I knew more about Dungeons and Dragons, maybe I'd be able to pull some stuff. Pull some something. We'll see. I don't know where. I'm just trying to figure out when and how I'm going to use this deck, honestly. So I'm trying to pull. La, 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 la. Hey, Sandra, how you doing? A card flipped over, and it's this one came out earlier. No is a good thing. Bottom of the deck is Heartbeat and Fight or Flight. Heartbeat and Fight or Flight is interesting because the heart responds to certain situations. And so it's almost like, is this an anxious heartbeat? Is this an excited heartbeat? Is this a oh no heartbeat? No is a good thing. What is this? What is this? Second edition for the win. I've only played 5e. I feel like I used a little bit of third edition in one of the campaigns because the DM was used to the third edition, or the DM like the third edition or something like that. I feel like I'll be more excited when I'm like actually in the airport. And that's how it happened last time too. Like literally up until the point I was in the airport, it kind of sort of wasn't real. Yeah. Um, I'm confused. Let's look at these knights again. The Knight of Charisma, finding a way to enjoy routine, take responsibility for our own success, and let go of expectations. Good work speaks for itself. And then the Knight of Wisdom, trusting your passion, allowing yourself to dream big, and imagining the best happening for you. These are very like finding a way to enjoy routine, take responsibility for our own success, and let go of expectations. That feels like settling, especially when you have something that says a night that says trust your passion, allow yourself to dream big, and imagine the best happening. Ooh. So then it's almost like maybe in a certain situation the heart says something, and then it triggers a fight or flight response. Um, so I could see, especially in this context, it's like if we always sort of like if we don't want to get our hopes up because we don't want to be disappointed. And so we're very mindfully sort of like not getting our expectations too high, not getting too excited, not investing too much time or energy, not allowing ourselves to like really sort of dream or fantasize about a certain thing. And then something happens that on the surface appears to get us a little closer to the thing. And then the heart jumps like, is this really happening? Oh my gosh. And like that excitement comes up. And then it's like the question of, do we run with it or do we like fight to suppress it? Because then it's like, no, like I don't want to get my hopes up because I don't want to like if I don't want to be disappointed or blah 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 whatever, right? No is a good thing. I wish I'd be like, hey me, hey me, hey me, hey me, hey me, hey me, hey me. You got your teeth cut on dragon lace growing up. On Dragonlance, you got your teeth cut on Dragonlance growing up. After that, it was just you and your imaginations on. Right? Hopefully, I don't have to pay for too much because I'm already getting the ticket to go there and I'm going to see somebody. So I'm like, I paid to get me here. I could have went anywhere cheaper and had just as much fun from this point. But he was like, "Oh no, like I'll cover this and I'll do that." So we'll see. But last time I went, I didn't really spend too much. So that's the good thing about not having to get a hotel. Excuse me, and not having to pay for every meal. This snow is a good thing. It's still throwing me. What does "no is a good thing" mean? Can I use this deck to clarify? Because the way this is, I'm like, oh, wait. I think I'm supposed to read this like I would be playing. I mean, it feels like it's right up my alley. Like the metaphor, the story, let's like dig into it and then see what the moral is or whatever. But you like when the card itself is kind of like that, I'm like, wait, where do I go with this? What is happening? I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll do a little bit on the gift is my presence and I got to pay for it. But honestly, that trip might be a little easier right now. There we go. Oh, and it came out between "No is a good thing" and "Heartbeat." Justice is at the bottom of the deck. This makes me think of Remy when she told the story about the two swords, and there was the big sword and then the small sword that was in her pocket. This is my Reem card. Okay. And then the Four of Strength. Four of Wands is here. Is that Elks? Yeah, it's Elks. Protection. Justice and protection. Okay. Who's the card that came out, though? It's the Emperor in reverse. The Emperor is in reverse with "No is a good thing" and "Heartbeat," which means that's the. It's just about like not being in control. Not being in control is a good thing. It's almost like there may be a tower moment, but the tower is a gift. But it may be a tower in something that we feel that we really want. And so it's almost like the fact that things didn't go our way, things didn't go your way, or things didn't go according to plan. It's a good thing. Again, sort of in the vein of like rejection is God's protection. And with the Emperor being in reverse and justice being upright, it's really like there's something more suited. There's something better for you. So we're going to say no to this so we can say yes to something else. So we have the capacity to say yes to something else. I should grab the tea leaf fortune cards, but I can't. Hopefully I could. You know what? Well, I'll do the 2 shuffles. I feel like it is so hard to talk lately. I don't know if that's because I'm tired. I feel like I'm just blah, 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 blah. I think, is this over? Completion. And fa la 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 at the bottom of the deck. See, and that was the thing about the Knight of Charisma. Being like, find a way to enjoy your routine, take success into your own hands. It's like settle, 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 settle. And so we may do what's convenient, we may do what's most realistic, we may do what's sort of safe. Or we may think we want to do what's safe. But with the Emperor in reverse, it's like, don't do the safe thing. Also, the Knight of Wisdom talks about passion, and then we have the heartbeat here. Do the thing that makes your heart beat. And when when the drum really starts going, it's like, is this anxiety or is this excitement? I don't know. Somebody tell me. And maybe with that Justice card too, there will be an element of subtlety. Or it's like it might not make sense to a lot of other people. It may not even make sense to you, I guess, fully in the moment. It might be like, why is this a no? Like, why is this happening? I thought this was whatever. And again, but with Justice and that 4 of Strength, 4 of Wands, it just feels like there's something better, something more suited instead. 2 cards just flipped over. Fa la 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 and Dreamscape. Dreamscape was the card behind fa la 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 la. But when I put the cards back in the deck, I didn't put fa la 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 back where it was. But still, they find a way to come out together. Didn't it say like dream bigger? I'm pretty sure it said dream bigger. And then we have this holiday season dreamscape. It's almost like higher. I don't know. Higher ancestors. And then comfort is here. She reminds me of the girl in the "No is a Good Thing" card. Maybe it's the beanie or the hat. Um, oh, higher. Duh. Dream bigger. Higher dreamscape. Here's the dreamscape. It's an even higher perspective in that dreamscape. You can see the environments are similar. And again, that reminds me of the second pile when I did it was what, like 3ing and 6ing your way above the 9 or beyond the 9 or something like that. Because in the second one, it was like, allow your practical plan to expand your dreams. It's like as we're going through the motions or as we're doing the thing, something sort of happens. That's the next step, but it feels like it could be disjointed. So it might require a pivot, it might require a leap, it might require some kind of sacrifice, and it might not be a sacrifice of something, it might be a sacrifice of what we think stability and comfort is, number one, and what we think we have to do to get it. And it's like we really mustn't be afraid to dream bigger. So then let's shuffle these. Let's shuffle this up. Hey Steph, how you doing? Hey Steph, how you doing? How you doing? Thank you. I got so much work to do still. I still got work to do at work, and I got appointments. Woo! Goodness. It'll work out. I might go in early and stay late. I'm like, no. Come on. So the matte decks. I wonder. I think the Diceology is also matte. I wonder if I could use these with the Diceology. Oops. Okay. So fa la 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 and Dreamscape. We get this 7. I would assume this is the 7 of intellect, 7 of intelligence, because it feels a little 7 of swordsy. That's the anglerfish. No. I think the anglerfish was not all things that obstruct dark are light. It's like a light shadow. Not everything that is dark is shadow. Shadow is only what obstructs the light. Oh, what's this anglerfish? No, not the anglerfish. Anything but the anglerfish. Let's see if I was right. No, it's actually the 7 of wisdom. Oh, that makes sense for the 7 of wisdom. 7 of wisdom, 7 of cups. Yeah. I work tomorrow and Thursday. So I'll leave work and then get on a bus to get on a plane. So, but it gives me an extra day. So instead of like leaving Friday, I just decided to leave Thursday and to work around it. So, no problem, Steph. I hope you get to feeling better. Excuse me. So, the 7 of wisdom is our capacity to be discerning in our decisions and to choose from a place of clarity and wisdom. Okay. And then the bottom of the deck, I think this is the 9 of charisma. Dude looking like a tiefling or a drow. And then we have, I think this is the king of charisma. Yeah, that's the king of charisma. And that is not the 9 of charisma. Is that the 9 of swords? No, that's the 9 of wisdom. It's all wisdom and charisma. The 9 of wisdom is finding the balance between enjoying our accomplishments and not slipping into complacency. Okay. And that's like the 9 of cups. The king of charisma, reaping the fruits of your endeavors, enjoying abundance while not getting lost in acquiring. So both of these, King of Pentacles, 9 of Cups, it's like enjoying what you have, but not getting lost in it, not getting complacent. But that's really interesting. But coming off of the last one again, it's like not settling, or it's not stopping. Because fa la 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 was at the bottom of the deck behind whatever card it was behind just now, and Dreamscape was behind that. It talked about clarity and discernment, and then we have the higher card. But it almost feels like as creatures who rely on sight, at least partially, it's almost like we're using the anglerfish to light our way. And as long as we don't stop moving, the anglerfish isn't going to like eat us, right? The anglerfish isn't going to eat the person as long as he's moving. So it's almost like in some way in that situation, the anglerfish would think that it's luring this person, but this person understanding, discerning the nature of the anglerfish, he can actually use its light to navigate a space that otherwise he wouldn't be able to see in. And so, in another way, it's almost like using the ego to your advantage or having a healthier relationship with the ego. And it is a balanced ego because, again, the king of charisma, enjoying abundance while not getting lost in it, or while not getting lost in acquiring, and the nine of wisdom, finding the balance between enjoying our accomplishments and not slipping into complacency. And then I guess in that way, it's almost like the ego can serve a higher purpose. But with Dreamscape, with the higher Dreamscape, that also makes sense. Because in some ways, it's the ego that dreams because the spirit wants for nothing. Right? It's the ego that a lot of times is the motivation to go out and do. Otherwise, we're just like, you know, the frog on the lily pad in the pond with no need for anything, and we don't go anywhere, we don't do anything, which is fine for those who it is for. But to have an ego is not a bad thing in and of itself. To be consumed by it or lost in it is a completely different story, right? And that's interesting. That's one way of oh yeah, okay. I was like, where was I thinking about creating light out of darkness? Where did that thought come into my brain? My head is starting to hurt. It's fine. But that's one way of doing it. But to do that, this would require a certain amount of control. Again, it's to not get lost in it, to not get complacent. I would say it's a dangerous game, but it isn't. But it's a slippery slope. That's better than a dangerous game. It can be a slippery slope. Okay, that was like semi cohesive. Now I almost wonder. I need another deck. I feel like if I keep pulling this deck, either one of these decks, I just get more confused. I need clarity. But I don't know. Because now that I'm looking at this, I'm almost wondering if this light truly is that of the anglerfish, or if it's something else. This is also the carrot on the stick card. That one's for Rob. Anyway. Where does this light come from? And what deck can I use? I don't know what deck I can use. Hey Siri, roll a d4.
Okay, 2 this time.
It's 2, so that's the second drawer. Oh! I'm not using the Dolly Tarot. Ooh. I do have the Weaver Tarot. The before and after, the Gilded Tarot. I'm probably going to use the Gilded Tarot, but I haven't used the Magical Dimensions, Oracle Cards, and Activators in a hot minute, and I kind of want to, but I'm not going to do it here. No. Even though I could. It's fine. I need to wrap this up soon. So whose light is this? What light is this? Who light? What light? Arc light? Rob! Oh, snap. Speak of the Odinson and he shall appear. How you doing, Rob? Robbo. Did you sign up for the Diablo Immortals open beta thing? I keep seeing it on the blizz.net or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do it. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. I hope things. What is going on energetically? I don't know. I feel like I've just been tired. I've been tired and regretting procrastinating, but also not regretting procrastinating because last week it was an inferno. Last week it was so hot. This week it's a lot cooler, and I didn't want to have to be out in the plant going up and downstairs carrying stuff while it was like so hot outside. So what's going on in the collective? Whose light is this? Ooh, a face down card. We love a face down card. I don't know if I like this. Stankness came out recently. It was the future testing the personal Yggdrasil tree. The personal Yggdrasil tree testing the future. With the emerald ash borer and how ash trees are like standing dead. They catch fire immediately. You don't even have to wait for the wood to dry because they're standing dead. So the card that came out face down is the Eight of Swords. I didn't even flip the face down card at first. When I was like, whose light is this? Judgment is sitting at the bottom of the deck. And I was like, ooh, okay. And then I flipped over the card and it was the Eight of Swords. And so I'm like, oh. So I can't even hold this thought. I have a slippery thought right now. I'm trying to catch it. Every time I almost catch the thought, it just like slips out of my hand. There it is. I was like, where did it go? We're gonna pull another deck. I guess I could pull runes. I want to get an archetype just to see what's up. Every time you hear that rune name, you hear it's like Wheel of Fortune. Right in the devil's butt, right? That's his punishment. But no one knows if he actually enjoys it. Let's get an archetype, please. So this one fell face down right where the Eight of Swords fell. Between Dreamscape and Fa La 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 La. The Maiden. Came out. You know what's interesting about the Maiden card? It's like, are these purple, pink, fuchsia trees on a night sky background? Or are these the shadows of the trees and that's the sky? The self is at the bottom of the deck. Hey, look, there's that pearl that's been coming up literally everywhere. The pearl, the maiden. Okay. Eight and 29. That didn't really help. That didn't really help. That didn't really help. I'm just gonna pull like literally every single deck that I have. Because I'm basically looking for a card to do the opposite of confirm. And that one didn't not confirm. So I'm going to give myself 2 more minutes. Whatever I don't finish in 2 minutes, I'm just going to end the video. You remember when I did that, Rob? I was like, this video is only going to be 30 minutes long. I don't care where I am. I'm just going to shut it down. And Rob was like, okay, arbitrary time limits. sometimes you got to mix it up, Every video can't be 5 hours long. And if I can't make a shorter video, then that is the best of compromise that I can do. I can just stop it. I can just end it. It just cuts off. Okay. Like, I don't want to be lied to, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to know the truth. You know what I mean? So I could just stop. No, it's fine. Okay. You know how it's like, I don't want to be lied to, but I also don't want confirmation. I feel like this is so the card that came out, it's encouragement, which is sweet. I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. Maybe it's not. And the bottom of the deck is Stormfields. So you got this. The storm, whatever the storm takes, the storm takes. Whatever the storm takes, you didn't need anyway. Regardless of how attached to it you might be, if the storm takes it, you didn't need it. Oof. I don't. Both of these are a 9, by the way. 54 9. Stormfields is a 9. We literally have, so it's the 7 of Pentacles and the 7 of Charisma. No, it's the 7 of Cups. It was the 7 of Wisdom. The 8 of Swords and then 2 9s. So we have a 7, 8, 9. There's some progression here. There's another 8. The Maiden is a number 8. And then I got a 17, 8. What's on the other side of the Stormfields? It's the Ghostlands. Yay. But under this 8, we have another 8, and it's strength. Strength for the Ghostlands. Encouragement for the Stormfields. That's just oof. I read that and like, that's oof to me. That's just so oof to me. I'm like, the encouragement is nice. Is the Stormfield necessary? Thanks, Matt. I might come live again. And I feel like usually I'm decent at like, or I try to find the thing for us to like hold on to get through it, or like what energy would help in this situation. See, I don't think it's necessarily bad. It doesn't have to be bad. That is our consolation. Our consolation is it doesn't have to be bad. Because again, going back to the dream bigger, going back to the no can be a good thing. It's almost like it reads a little towery, but it's almost like one of those like you wouldn't have asked for this, you wouldn't have necessarily had the courage to go after it. So I didn't say anything about it. I just did it. Almost like I knew you would have said no, or I knew you would have freaked out. So I didn't say anything. I just went out and did it. I just went out and got it, and I know you're gonna love it. You just aren't gonna see it coming, because if you did, you may have run from it. And so in that way, it's kind of sort of reassuring, but at the same time, it's almost like it would bring its own set of challenges. Because when I was like, I don't even know what energy would be helpful or useful, my brain immediately goes like Pluto. I mean, my brain immediately goes Pluto. Um, but I don't know if Pluto is helpful in the moment. Pluto works beforehand so that by the time we reach a place, we've already been changed and transformed. And so maybe again, but that came out every time I pull Mausolea, Vanth comes out. You have everything that you need for when that critical moment comes. And if you don't have it, it will be easily accessible. So I would think all we need is like courage or strength. And so then is the anglerfish not even trying to eat us? Is this an anglerfish that's actually guiding us? Is this the coyote that came out with Earth? And that's why the card said it's like discernment is going to be key. Our capacity to be discerning in our decisions and to choose from a place of clarity and wisdom. Like every card I pull in this deck is wisdom. Most of them are wisdom. So it's almost like maybe we have the clarity, but do we have, or we have the wisdom, but do we have the clarity and discernment to know when, where, and how to apply it? If you don't, I have a feeling that you may get some opportunities to learn or to practice. Maybe not. If it doesn't resonate, don't claim it, right? Like only a special type of individual would look for towers or would just welcome towers. Maybe the tower and the chariot would be that individual's birth cards. Who knows? Maybe they're just crazy. Sorry. It's fine. Sayonara, sayonara. When you know exactly. See, I really do feel like with the encouragement in Stormfields, because at first it was like, oof, like something's about to go down. And the divine is just like, you got this, be strong. But there were only two ways to Oz from Kansas, right? And both of them are on the table. We had the storm that took Dorothy. We have the hot air balloon that took the wizard. And they were like, I ended up putting this because these were at the bottom of the deck, so they were both in the same part, right? This is how we get to Oz. So and maybe this was the point of the forest. Because where my brain was originally going a minute ago in the wild unknown archetypes, the box, the forest, the box and the forest came out like all the time. And it was this feeling of like the fog is going to roll in thick. And those that navigate out of the fog, or those that navigate out of the forest before the fog lifts, will find themselves in a space of mastery. The fog will eventually lift. But those that find their way out of the forest before the fog lifts will find themselves in mastery because they learn to navigate in the fog. It's like that easy. It's that simple. It's not that easy. It's just that simple. And so when this came out with the judgment and the Eight of Swords, I was like, is this a test of mastery? And that's why I was like, oof. So I went for the wild unknown archetypes to see if the forest would come out or the box. Um, and the maiden came out. And I was like, oh, the maiden, interesting. Okay. But again, as I was looking at the maiden, I was like, that looks like the forest. These are the trees. And I was like, well, are these the trees or are these the trees? Like, which is the sky? And so it didn't really answer my question. So I went here and then I got the storm fields and I was like, oh, great. But now, almost going back to that same sentiment, what we find in the forest, in the fog, is ourselves. And it's almost like because it is the maiden, it's almost this aspect of the self that is yet untouched, an aspect of the self that is yet unexplored. It should be this way because the self was at the bottom. And so maybe that's why the encouragement for the storm field is here too. Because if we've already, and that's another thing with the Eight of Swords, and I think it came out somewhere else recently, but I don't remember. It's like we've already changed. We've already healed. We've already triumphed. It just might require the situation for us to prove it to ourselves or for us to show it. For something to happen and we're less affected than we used to be, or for something to happen and now we know how to like solve it rather than just being like a deer in headlights or spiraling or whatever. And so it's like that's why the encouragement for the storm field is here. That's why it's like there's a judgment behind the Eight of Swords. It feels like maybe partially some of it is a test, but otherwise it's to show us. Because without the situation, how else would we know? You know what I mean? How would you know that you develop super strength overnight unless you go out and you try to lift a train? You know what? You know what I mean? It's like if you just keep living your life normally, and that goes back to sort of the routine too. And then the Knight of Wisdom saying to break out of routine. Where the Knight of Charisma, Knight of Pentacles was like, find pleasure in the routine and manage your own success. Be reasonable. Think small. I literally had, it was a person, it was a boss. It was an old boss. We had a meeting and we were talking about goal setting or whatever. And she was like, set your goals small so that when you exceed them, you feel better about yourself or something. It was like, make these ridiculously easy to accomplish goals so you can tell people I met my goals. Not only did I meet my goals, I exceeded them. And I'm like, everybody else was like, what? But that's literally what she said. She was like, set ridiculously easy to achieve goals so that you can meet and exceed them. And so that you look good. And it's like, okay. But does that really do anything for you at the same time? Okay. I feel better. I feel better about this now. Red shoe wisdom. Just gotta wait until you get literally all the way to eyes for Glenda to be like, "Oh yeah, you've had the way to go home the whole time. I put them on your feet at the beginning, but it was about the journey. You know, if you would have went home in the beginning, then the Scarecrow would never have gotten a brain, and the Tin Man wouldn't have gotten a heart, and the Lion wouldn't have got courage, even though those were all things that they had, just like you at the start of the journey. They just needed the journey to find out for themselves. And now you can go home." It's like, I almost died. There was an entire witch. Took my dog, took my friends. I was alone. I was scared, but glad I could grow, you know, because that's what it's about. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I guess that was her thing. But also at the same time, it's just like the situation. I don't know. I can see situations and circumstances where it would be that. See, that makes sense. There are situations where I can see it being extremely valuable and beneficial and helpful. But everything here is like dream bigger, do more, and not in a nothing is ever good enough way. It's just like show yourself how capable you are type of way. And so it's like set a little bit more challenging of a goal that you can still accomplish and get some a little bit more payout, I guess. Or not. It was just like, okay, yeah, in that way I can see that being very beneficial for her. Like she was riddled with insecurities and it was very obvious in the way that she treated people and everything else. So I can see her being a set small goals and achieve it type of person, and not to say anything about that type of person. But it's like at the same time, like it was just her insecurity. Her insecurity made her very difficult to work with. And she was the boss. So it wasn't a good situation for her. Yeah, it is where you're at. It's very much so where you're at. And I think there's a lot of, or there's an undercurrent in this energy. Maybe it's, again, it's from my perspective. That's like, we're not where we used to be. We're much further than we think we are. And that's why it's almost like it's a surprise. Like if I would have told you, you would have freaked out. You would have ran from it. You wouldn't have done it. So we sprung it on you, kind of like a tower. But to show you something about you, we just have to, at some point in all of that, learn to be where we are instead of where we used to be, or instead of where we're used to being. So it's still oof. It's still very much so oof because I don't know. We don't see it though. I don't think we would with this Eight of Swords. And see, it's like with this judgment, it's almost the very thing. Like, this is the very thing that would get us to take off the blindfold and to realize it. Like, the environments, the situations are very the same, very similar. And this is a very dreamy Eight of Swords card for this dreamscape. And that card, that is the suit of intelligence. Intelligence represents how the power of the intellect can shape our world. These cards show seekers how they can use their thoughts to shape their attitude and their reality. Rarely do we see the world as it is without our mind creating a story around it. And it's almost like, where is our mind to the point where that being our filter that we perceive reality through? Or with it being the lens through which we perceive reality. The mind here is, it's at the Eight of Swords. Humaning is difficult. And interacting with humans is difficult. Anyway. Oh, snap. I love that. Yeah, it's like the cat in the mirror. Is that literally what like therapists kind of do though? It's like, I see where you are. I see where you see you are. I see where you are. I see where you, I hear what you're telling me of where you want to be. And from you being where you are, seeing things how you are, I'm to help you get somewhere else. Wait. Oh, I already pulled cards. Well, let's pull another one. Oh, no, I'll pull the Energy Oracle cards. Well, in the D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons Tarot, the suit of swords is intelligence. So they have strength, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Like the stats. And that's literally the suit of intelligence. That's what they say for the suit of swords. So I just read it out of the book. These cards show seekers how they can use their thoughts to shape their attitude and the reality. So I'm going to pull the first intelligence card from the top of the deck. It's not coming from the bottom, so hopefully it's easier to access. I don't know which cards are intelligence ones, but this will help us learn how to use our minds to get us to see things. With the Seven of Cups already talked about, the Seven of Wisdom already talked about clarity, wisdom, and discernment. So how can we gain clarity, wisdom, and discernment? I need another deck. I will grab. Where'd it go? Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Here it is. The Pocket Tarot. It's been a whole hour. I am 20 minutes over. I'm 23 minutes over, actually. This video should have ended 23 minutes ago with no resolution. I'm just playing. It's the Taurus in me. I can't help it. I can. I just choose not to. And sometimes when I make a choice I shouldn't, I enjoy that choice. Until consequence. And then I'm like, no. Why did I do that? It's fine. So, oof. 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands and the 7 of Cups. What can help us in this burden of choice? This discernment. It's interesting that, again, like we get like this kind of sort of theme. I actually love these colors together. What can help us? Oh, I do need an easy button. But not like, I need an easy button that makes things easy, not one that just says that was easy. Because oh, a saying, a phrase almost popped into my head. The Four of Swords. This is how we gain clarity, wisdom, and discernment. Meditation might be very helpful at these times. It's quieting the mind, quelling the storm. And it's almost like as the mind gets quiet enough, it's like as the mind gets quieter, a word is spoken or something is delivered. And that's sort of like the clarity. Like that's the thing. Bottom of the deck is the moon. The moon is feeling like stillness here. Also, peep the trees, you know. Now, I am fairly certain that these are two white trees and it's not some black tree on a white sky or something, you know. It's easier to tell in this card. So we got to take all the color out, make it black and white, no gray, no reds, no blues, no purples, no fuchsias, no cyans, no aquamarines, just black and white. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm a real life human with a real life head, mind, heart, soul, and things aren't just black and white. There's plenty of color. And it's like, okay, well, ooh. The moon, the hermit, and the eight of swords, all at the bottom of the deck. I love this. Because it's like in the stillness of this night, something happens at this hermit that now the caterpillar begins to break out of the chrysalis and emerge a butterfly. Stillness will help a lot. And if you're not good at meditation, maybe there is something else that you can do that that settles the mind. And maybe it's almost too like if the mind is calm and clear, then our perception would be more clear. It's like the clearer the mind, the more clarity of perception. Is that every deck I wanted to use? Every deck except one. I mean, I'm going to try to not F this up now because I feel like that's actually a really good spot to leave it. But there are other cards I wanted to pull, and I'm going to pull them. So let's see if I don't ruin this. It's not possible. It's not possible to ruin this. Doesn't mean I won't try. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, snap. Rob is already ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve. Ooh. Where to put the majority of your focus? Is that a Reem? Hi, Reem. Hi, Reem. How you doing? I think I would say it depends. And so I would let my focus go to wherever my focus needs to go. Sometimes the crown, sometimes the heart, sometimes somewhere else entirely. Sometimes everything, everywhere, all at once. I still haven't seen everything, everywhere, all at once, but I want to. Oops. Oh, snap. Is that a Russell? Oh, wow. Is that a David? Everyone's like coming in. How are y'all doing? Like, this video ended half an hour ago. Right now, we are in arbitrary territory. Y'all get bonus. This is my healing. This is the resolution of my Taurian energy. I'm kidding. um, but yeah, I would say whichever, because I think I'm of the mind that there are things that the heart is for, or there are times for the heart to lead. There are times for the crown to lead. There are times for everything. It's like everything has its time. Every dog has its day. Everybody has a season of it. And I believe this one's yours. You've been working, waiting. This is what you've been praying for. Go get it. It's your time, Mary Mary. Go get it, Mary Mary. But that's just me. I'm also not very learned. I'm not very learned either, so I might not be the right person to ask. Like, I have a friend who asks me about astrology stuff sometime, and I'll be like, traditionally, or like, if you look it up, this might be what it means in astrology, but for me in Patrick's world, this is how it speaks to me. This is how I make sense of it. So I don't know. I don't think I'm necessarily the person to ask. But I guess you weren't. If you're asking me for my perspective or opinion, I can give my opinion. Um, my individually informed opinion, my non-studied opinion. So, energy oracle cards. Let's go. Did you see? Did you? Did you see my comment on Reem's video? Reem was like, it was her Aries video. She was like, this is like, don't go pick up a book. If you're not reading a book, it's not for you. For someone who's already reading a book. And what did I do? I got on my phone. I went to the last book that I read, which was the Energy Oracle Card Guidebook. And I went to page 62. And then I came home and I grabbed the closest book I have. It's actually from my Journey Buddy. This book called Big Magic. And I went to page 62. I did it. And I'll admit it. I ain't ashamed. I'll take it anyway. I'm just playing. But I did do that. Like, in all honesty, I really did do that. And the book on page 62, it actually talked about how historically, I'll read it actually. I don't, we'll see. I was going to say, I don't think it's necessarily relevant, but we'll see. I will read you page 62 in Big Magic. There's no logical explanation for why this occurs. How can two people who have never heard of each other's work both arrive at the same scientific conclusions at the same historical moment? Yet, it happens more often than you might imagine. When the 19th century Hungarian mathematician János B. invented non-Euclidean geometry, his father urged him to publish his findings immediately before someone else landed on the same idea, saying, when the time is ripe for certain things, they appear at different places, in the manner of violets coming to light in early spring. Multiple discovery happens outside the scientific sphere too. In the business world, for instance, there's a general understanding that a big new idea is out there, floating around in the atmosphere, and that the first person or company to grab hold of it will take. Let me start again. And that the first person or company to grab hold of it will likewise seize the competitive advantage. Sometimes everyone's grabbing at once in a mad scramble to be first. Multiple discovery even happens in romantic relationships. Nobody's been interested in you for years and years, and suddenly you have two suitors at the same time. That's multiple discovery indeed. And then it bleeds into the next page. I guess I'll read it. To me, multiple discovery just looks like inspiration hedging its bets, fiddling with the dials, working two channels at the same time. Inspiration is allowed to do that if it wants to. Inspiration is allowed to do whatever it wants to, in fact, and is never obliged to justify its motives to any of us. And then in parentheses, as far as I'm concerned, we're lucky that inspiration talks to us at all. It's much too much to ask that it also explain itself. I am still watching 48 hours of pure white screen. Why do you choose? My TV has literally been on this entire time from when I started the last video and left, from when I came back. And I don't know where my remote is. So I might lose pure white screen in like 3 minutes. And I guess I'll just end the video when I run out of pure white screen. You take them both on. But yeah, that was page 62. So back to this. I have 231. Oh, okay. You came out immediately. All right. Well, maybe I was supposed to read that. 29 landed on 29. So the first 29 is the self. The second is the world. The world just came out. And wasn't it talking about how multiple discovery happens in different places around the world because there's a big idea sort of floating out in the atmosphere? Is this the source of inspiration? Is there some being somewhere that says the world is now ready? And is this the inspiration? Is that the idea floating in the atmosphere? Inspiration, is that you? Door to Romance, number 33. Open. The door is open. I can't tell if the bird cage on the heart is open or not. Is this the source of inspiration? What do y'all think? Is that the source of inspiration? No, I'm intrigued. I want to know. See, and with the door to romance, it's like this is the source of inspiration. Sort of like when it comes in. Door to romance, it's like for those who are open and receptive. Like not only is the door open for the idea to come in, but also the heart has to be open. And so going back to the question of do you focus on the crown or the heart? Maybe both. Because if the crown receives, but the heart can't, if the crown like picks up, but the heart isn't open to receive, then does it matter? I guess, in a way. The entirety of the system works together in some ways. The entry point may differ and vary, but if there's any blockage along the way, it might bottleneck or it might slow down or we may receive in part. We may not get it in its entirety. And so maybe that's another reason why inspiration strikes everywhere all at once. Because maybe too, if not one can get it in its entirety, if many can get it in part, then together they will have it in its entirety. Or if it's something that, especially when the world wasn't so interconnected, if it's something that needs to exist in multiple places, then it will find a home in multiple places. Is that the home exchange? No, maybe. I don't know. So I didn't necessarily expect this turn, but I never do, and I always love it. It keeps me amazed. I'm like, eventually I'll get somewhere. I don't know where I'm going right now, but eventually I'll get there. That's literally how I learn, though. I think that's why I'm decent at learning, because as I'm learning something, I don't need it to immediately make sense. So that's the video. Bye. I hope you all have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're all acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way, you find it in the way that you need it. Did you do drugs and forget? No, the pure white screen, it just went off because my TV's like, you have 250 whatever seconds. And I was like, I'll stay until pure white screen leaves because I don't know where my remote is. And it went off. I had 48 hours. It gave me like 5. Okay, Reem said stay, so I'll stay. Yeah, I'll stay. I literally just pulled this deck out too. So now we've passed the realm, or we've passed the limit of arbitration. So we were in the realm of the arbitrary. Now without the light, we're in the dark. So for the faint of heart, mind, body, soul, or biome, shout out to Russell, you may want to stop here. Oof. We got card 16 and it's double. So we get 16 and 32. 16 is forgiveness. 32 is releasing. Everything's going to be kind of weird. I'll see. Hey, Siri. Oh, my phone is right here. Hey, Siri, turn on lamp.
Okay, the lamp is on.
We'll see if that helps. Kinda. Barely. It's not. Hey, Siri, turn lamp brightness to 100%.
Okay, I set the lamp to 100%.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, maybe that helped a little bit. Forgiveness and releasing. Forgiveness is redemption, rebirth, and regeneration. Releasing is spiritual cleansing, purification, and letting go. So this fairy goes to the tree, and then this fairy pops out of the water reborn. Out of all the cards, I mean, I had no expectation. Wait, what? Wait, what's going on? I should have ended this video an hour ago. I'm just kidding. So it's like I know what it is, but it's hard to communicate. My brain is not holding on to thoughts. Oh my. Oh gosh. Only the mind of a Scorpio. I'm just playing. I kind of want to go to the Norse divination, Idrisil. Kind of want to go to the Idrisil. Now imagine the voice. We're going to do that thing that we do sometimes. I'm going to do that thing that I'm doing right now, where I put the cards back inside the deck and I'm going to separate them and I'm going to shuffle this again and we'll see if they come back up. What? So instead of a 1632, we got 16 and it's double. This time we get 17. And guess what's at the bottom of the deck? The bottom of the deck is 16. Forgiveness is at the bottom of the deck. So we got 16 and it's double. The bottom of the deck is 16 and it's half. 16 and 8. The crown portal is under forgiveness. The card that came out is Gaian Awakening, number 17. Gaian Awakening is preparing relocation and ascension. I don't get it. I don't get it. No. So I think I'm just gonna be done. Like I said, as soon as the purifying the 48 hours of pure white screen went off, like we were already in the territory of the arbitrary and potentially absurd. Losing the pure white light clarity did not help. I don't know how to communicate this. If Siri says tells, I'm gonna give up. I've done so well to use Siri the few times I've used Siri in this video. I've so many times wanted to just break down and ask Siri, hey Siri, flip a coin.
Tails.
Siri said it's okay to give up sometimes. Siri said it's okay to just be like, I don't know. I don't know what this is. For it is 48 hours till touchdown. Oof. Well, slightly more. 48 hours and I'm on the plane. But no, hold up. Because let me go to my calendar. 7 to 3. 3 is 15. That's like 8 hours. That's less than 8 hours. That's not bad. That's not bad. I think it was like 9 hours the first time I flew. Anyway, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. I can do it again, right? Because if the card really is supposed to come out, it will come out again. I'm just gonna keep doing this until it gives me something else. Oh, I could have just held up the cards and just be like, "You interpret this." Look what's at the cut now. Celestial assistance in the crown portal. Just choose a card. Did somebody? I feel like I was just looking at the number 7 for some reason. Ain't nobody put 777 in here. I guess I'll leave at 720. Oh, my favorite card is a. Okay. My favorite card is at the bottom of the deck. Ice Queen is literally my favorite card in this deck. I love Ice Queen. She's number 22. As soon as I started shuffling, Contemplation fell out. Contemplation was at the bottom of the deck behind Releasing. Behind Releasing was Contemplation. There's a card with it and its attachment. Is this me? Your attachment to contemplating. Call me out. Contemplation is silence, knowing, and releasing control. Oof. Attachment is accumulation, defensiveness, and scarcity. Ice Queen is introspection, self-analysis, and fortitude. And I'm actually going to read Ice Queen so you know why she's my favorite. I know why Ice Queen is my favorite. I want you to know why Ice Queen is my favorite. And Ice Queen isn't the way that we colloquially use the term Ice Queen. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. You prefer ice cream. My mom actually got a quart of ice cream today. Maybe I'll get some. It's pralines and cream though. I'm like, ooh. I don't know if I like pralines and cream. Ice Queen is she's literally right here. Ice Queen. Ice Queen resonates to personal power and liberation from the shadow self. This revealing ray ignites strength and fortitude, calling forth a presence from the depths of the soul to penetrate through the most difficult of challenges and trials. Fusing a bridge between the powers of nature, soul light power, and the darkness that is a part of the light itself, a new butterfly is born as it sheds its old self and steps into the newness and light of its own being. I kind of got the chills a little bit. I kind of got the chills a little bit as I reached the end of that. And it's all up in here. Because that's like the stillness, right? The stillness under the moonlight with the light of the hermit. The caterpillar finally begins to emerge from the chrysalis as a butterfly. Releasing contemplation. I was. I wasn't being called out, though. I was. Not only was I being called out, releasing contemplation is the state of like this mental clarity that we reach in the Four of Swords. This is releasing contemplation. This is the Ice Queen that happens in that sort of stillness. The butterfly finally emerges from its chrysalis. The oracle interpretation: go into a space of deep inner reflection. Go into a space of deep inner reflection. For it is a time of going within and is required in order to face the shadow self. Perhaps you need to retreat and do some self-growth exploration. If you feel lost or confused about your situation, just go within. It takes strength and courage to reveal the truth, and sometimes the shadows attempt to hide light from you. Honor both the light and dark, but choose light. And I love that in all of this, it says the shadow self, the shadow, but the shadow is not dark. Dark is, light is. Shadow obstructs what is. So it is not. But because the shadow obstructs light, it can be confused for the dark. But it isn't. Dark just is. There is light, there is dark, there is shadow in between. Anyway. This. The anglerfish. And it's like using the ego to sort of go. It's like, because it was a person using the light of the anglerfish to navigate through the dark. This person knows exactly what the anglerfish is. This person has no intention of being eaten by the anglerfish. But this person needs the light of the anglerfish to navigate, because otherwise it won't be able to see. Just like we're in the dark part of the video now because my pure white screen went off. We have to use another light or get by on the little light we have. Luckily, I have a camera that you can see. It attempts to adjust and correct for the light situation right now. And our eyes adjust too. Given enough time, our eyes will eventually adjust. Maybe we won't need the anglerfish at all after a certain point. I love Ice Queen. The companion crystals for Ice Queen are snow quartz and phantom quartz. The companion essential oil is wintergreen. Am I done now? Is that it? What time is it? What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. This fine. Rise. Oof. Anglerfish. Oof, 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 oof. I'm looking at this Wheel of Fortune. And the Ace of Cups. And the Two of Swords. With the Son of Cups and the Sun. This is at the bottom of the deck under the Moon, the Hermit, and the Eight of Swords. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. How did I not notice this? How did I literally not notice this? I got the Eight of Swords twice. And that was the thing with judgment. It's like judgment is helping us to see things that we otherwise wouldn't see. And I said, because the environment is similar, it's happening in the same realm. I did catch I kind of caught the fact that we have these sort of at night, and then the moon came out. I didn't catch that the Eight of Swords is here twice, but it's time. It's time. Isn't that, well, the thing said it's time to go within. Um, but I said that earlier, right? Everyone has a season, and I believe this one's yours. Mary, Mary, go get it. That's the song. It's your time. I feel a lot better about the encouragement in the storm fields. I feel a lot better now. Yeah, I'm traveling forward in time, and then I'll come back. Oof. Is that it? I think I pulled every deck I wanted to use. Is there any other deck that I have that I want to use that I haven't used? Yes. So we're going to do a pick. We're going to do a choose. Choose north, east, south, or west. 1, 2, 3, or 4. I'm going to use this deck that I bought that I never use because how would I? How would I ever use this deck? But I am using it right now. You can tell me what you pick. You don't have to. Um, this part it's mostly for fun, I guess. Like I said, I bought this deck because I was like, ooh, and now I'm like, where would I ever use this? Well, would I ever? Well, would I ever? Well, would I ever? Well. Reem. I don't travel through time. Time travels through me. Just like the wind flows through my vessel, so too does time flow. I'm kidding. Okay, give me one of these. Oh, look at this. This is fun. So, for those of you, well, everybody's answer is yes. The answer is yes. The number is 25. Lucky number 154. 154 is a 10. 25 is a 7. But for those of you that chose 1 or north, regardless of opposition, you will be successful. For those who chose east or 2, you will overcome your domestic troubles. For those of you that chose south or 3, you are inclined to make people happy. And for those who chose for those who chose west or 4, love and happiness in store for you, more so in the future. There you go. I got these like this little deck. It has a number, a wish answer, a lucky number, and then these 4 different messages. It's where'd the box go? The wonderful zodiac fortune telling cards from Ingalls, the greatest fortune teller in the world. I saw this on Amazon. I was like, oh, I want it. Don't know why I got it. I like never use those, but do the British accent. I can't. I can't do it on command. I can't. I really can't. I'm sorry. See, and then when I try to do the accent, I get like lost in so many places. But I guess so for as per Russell's request, I will do my best to give you a little bit of an accent. A little bit, not too much of an accent. I found if you can convince yourself when you do an accent, you can convince anybody. The thing is to not think about what you're saying. It's to just say it. Like when I talk in my regular accent or voice, I don't think about pronouncing the words in the way that I'm going to pronounce it. I just do. I just speak. I just am. Just like time, just as the time flows through my body. Ew, I said that weird, didn't I? and merges with my essence. And my essence is just like dragged along in its stream or whatever. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad. What else? What else? I love an English Valley girl. Oh my gosh. Yes. I don't know if I've figured out how to mesh the two exactly. You're watching. Oh, are you still watching Harry Potter? I remember in your live, you talked about Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I was like, it wasn't the Prisoner of Azkaban. Ooh. Oh, me. Okay. All right. Never mind. Okay, yeah. You finished the movies? It's Callie from the Valley. Yes. So, am I done? I feel like the answer is no. I just want to keep going. Are there any other decks? Dreamscapes, Dream Bigger. I have to go for the Mystical Dream Tarot. And the lover has to pop out. Eve has to say something about, I literally just got here and the creepy lover's card is out. And I should be asleep because I have to work tomorrow. But we'll see. This will be the last one. Since we were told to dream bigger, I will go for this deck. And then, should I do a final message from every single deck I have on the table? Is that not a bit ridiculous? Is that not a bit ridiculous? Is that not a bit ridiculous? I was in, I think I still have it. I was terrified. I am not great with heights. And there was a thin wall of glass that separated me and the ground that was several meters, feet below. I was like, oof. Well, let me see if I can find this. That's my thinking tongue. It would have been like the last day. I only worked up the courage like literally the last day I was there. It's recording, by the way. Try not to die. Unfortunately, my cloud auto backup is off, so if I die, it won't even upload. Stop speaking in a British accent. It's not an accent, mate. It's where I'm from. I can tell my mother. I love her. You got my brother from another mother. Yeah. Can you hear that? Oh gosh. Anyway. So, is that my creepy lover's tongue? It might be. That was me the last time I was there. I was like, so what would happen usually? I would watch a lot of Doctor Who. And I watched Torchwood. And in watching Doctor Who, I couldn't help but like slip into accents and stuff like that. And so I was like, when I go to London, like my biggest fear is that somebody will talk to me and I won't even think and I'll just reply in an accent and embarrass myself. Luckily it didn't happen. But that was me on the roof on the last day. Is that Sir Michael Caine talking? Okay, so a mystical dream tarot. Give me a card, please. Is this High Father Mystic? High Father Mystic, is that you? We got a dreamer. Oh my gosh. Thank you. So the card that came out is the Innocent. I might actually read this card. The Innocent, the bottom of the deck is the Dreamer of Pentacles. And the Ten of Swords with Judgment. Let's read the Innocent. I've just made an entire mess. But it's fine. It's fine. Here it is. I was like, where did this book literally just go? The Door to Romance. I forgot about the Door to Romance. Me too. I wanted to go. So, because I was texting my friend, I was like, is there a boat or a ferry or something that crosses the water to go to Ireland? And then he was like, oh, save. He was basically like, you got to have a reason to come to the UK/Europe every year. So some things will save and wait. And I was like, why don't you come to America? I'm just fine. Matthew is in Ireland? What? Matthew is in Finland? What? I don't know where Matthew is from. I just assumed. I mean, I guess I assume everybody is from the States unless they tell me otherwise. Okay, so you're from Maine. All right. Matthew said, I'm from the States. Maine is pretty, oh, it is pretty, right? The Pacific, Eastern and Pacific. No, that's Eastern. So the Atlantic, the Pacific Northwest. It's literally west. That's what? Oregon, Washington. New England is gorgeous. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, look, there's the Ten of Swords. No. I'm going to read the Ten of Swords, but just because I don't like it. Oh, snap. Oh, you got out of Texas. Eve would be so proud. Eve would be so proud. You can be the main man, Matt. Exactly. So the Ten of Swords, the horned beast, forms a bridge between dream and waking reality. Communication with a beloved ancestor opens the bridge to the within. The horned beast represents the power to transcend waking reality. The horns of the moon sit prominently upon his head, generating inner energies. So that moon actually carries through in all three cards. So we got this black crab with the crescent moon, the same crescent moon on the horns of the beast, the same crescent moon and the eye of this judgment circle thingy, like right there. And that's a wet moon. Farmer's Almanac taught me that that's a wet moon. A wet moon is when the crescent is in this shape. Because if you pour water into it, it would hold it. It's like a bowl. It would hold water. So we got these wet moons. We got this wet Eight of Swords. This is the card, by the way. I would hold it up, but my arm gets tired. The reason why, so when I started this, I was like, I feel like there's a lot of like ancestral energy coming through. And then I was like, High Father Mystic, is that you? And High Father Mystic is the premier ancestor. High Father Mystic came out yesterday. So, the horns of the moon sit prominently upon his head, generating inner energies which connect the waking mind with the dream mind. The Triskel acts like a windmill, fostering the powerful shift, speaking of Ireland, from one phase to another. So, oh my gosh, the Triskel acts like a windmill, fostering the powerful shift from one phase to another through upheaval and struggle. And it was like, this thing is blowing. And it's actually like sucking something, someone, us people into this. And so it kind of sort of in a way takes me back to the forest. And how it's like, you know, we're not gonna tell you this is happening. We're not gonna tell you. I think wasn't it like an elementary school or something, Reem? I think my mom was telling me about that in the car briefly on my way to or from the dentist. Um, I was like, what? But also, this is America, and they happen a lot. That was actually one of the things. So when we first went into lockdowns, they were like, there hasn't been a mass shooting in a minute because we weren't gathered en masse or large gatherings. But it was like as soon as places would open back up or whatever, mass shootings started happening again. You know, a high school kid went to an elementary school. What? Because I remember asking her, I was like, well, who went to an elementary school? Oh my goodness. Oof. I feel like oof is all I can say. But at the same time, again, it's like it's America. It happens all the time. And I guess we've decided to not do anything to prevent it, to stop it from happening, to make it more difficult. And I read it was on the internet a few years ago. It was after Sandy Hook. And they were basically like, when America decided that it was okay to let those children die, what else is going to happen? Like, what else is going to be the thing to get us to be like, hey, like maybe we should do something to make this less of an occurrence. It's like, no, we'll just continue to accept it as part of the reality of living in America. So you've been saying oof lately because of me. I started saying oof because who was it? I started saying oof because of somebody else, I feel like. I don't remember. It's been a while though. Yeah, like Sandy Hook, exactly. Yeah, I think you're right. I know, like, I knew one was, I had it backwards in my head though, that O was the, but yeah, I think you are right. Mac is the son or daughter. I think it was like son. O is the grandson, granddaughter. I saw a video on like Celtic, Irish, Scottish, Gaelic names. So like O'Malley was the grandson or granddaughter of Malley. Oof. All right, Siri, thank you for stopping in and for making me keep reading. I'm kidding. Have a great night. I need to go to bed myself. I got a whole bunch of monthly stuff to do, and I'm not going to be at work for the rest of the month after 2 days. I've been kind of going in whenever, but it's fine. So I'll read that last part again. The Triskel acts like a windmill, fostering the powerful shift from one phase to another through upheaval and struggle. Triskel is threefold: past, present, future, thus pointing to the need to seek answers from each in working through problems. What did or did not serve certain issues in the past? What best serves the present? How does a decision potentially influence the future? What needs to be preserved from this view? What needs to be let go? In the end, what needs to be added? The horned beast and his gift of the Triskel help the seeker move beyond crushing defeat, sorrowful loss, and tragic collapse. The sorrows plunge the seeker into the depths in order to consider what is necessary to move beyond misfortune. Decisions and situations must be observed from the threefold view for the best resolution. From a position of ruin, loss, and death, new energies are available, beings rising upon the mound of wonders to guide the seeker beyond loss. Maybe that's sort of relevant, kind of sort of relevant to the conversation. Excuse me. I did want to go to Ireland though, because I have Irish DNA. I was actually thinking about that recently too. Where's page 62? I gotta go to page 62. Hold it. The Suit of Wands is very much about creativity, the blossoming of awareness, periods of rest and movement, of letting go of the old and moving ahead towards the new. This is the suit of the dream incubating and manifesting when time is right. There's the balance between dormancy and growth, of purity versus commercialism, of addiction versus healthy focus. Choice, change, delay, and focus are common themes, as are hospitality and charity, and the ultimate attainment of self realization. That's page 62. I want to read the full. This is a lot. The innocent represents the omnipotence of potential, the orb of light that shines from within the inner realm of creation and onto the external world of destruction. Balanced upon the ancient Egyptian symbol for stability, the Jed pillar of Osiris, god of death and resurrection, The orb contains all possibilities, life and death. It is this knowledge that maintains the harmony and stability of life, the knowing that all creation is measured by equal parts of give and take, life and death. Creation demands destruction for the ever turning cycles of being. The land must give up its clay to form the pot. The sky pours down its tears that the rivers flow. Everything cycles between becoming and terminating. The path of the innocent is to remember and to keep balanced as the potential flows forth into the manifest. The orb is pure energy waiting to burst into action. It is innocence. It is the enthusiastic urge to discover, uncover, and explore. Nothing appears impossible when the eyes first perceive creation. The swirling mass of the universe that rises high above the peaks of the mountains demonstrates the raw power that needs to be harnessed. The red serpent energy is ever present, a grim reality of the waking physical world pouring out the products of putrefaction and decay in order to recycle them into new births. The serpent reminds the innocent that all birth rests upon death, and that death gives rise to birth. This is an initiate's wisdom. Life's deepest mystery lies in this unending cycle. The innocent is ready to burst through the watery womb of eternity into the corrupt world of the manifest. All begins in perfect balance upon the pillar of stability, yet the dance of life is to maintain that balance. All possibilities await, yet the challenge of the innocent is discernment, and that is something only acquired along the journey. Perception can seduce one to accept falsehoods, embrace dangerous paths, and in the end, lose all sight of reality. The innocent needs to go slowly, harness the enthusiasm which can cause one to leap before knowing the truth of the decision. Discernment, caution, and patience must be learned. This is raw energy, enthusiastic, passionate, and pure, yet it bursts into a world of corrupting influences. In a reading, the innocent is one who endeavors to transcend all things in order to follow the impulse. Returning to one's place of origin is likened to returning to birth, unprejudiced, unfettered with dogma, free to enter into life. Unclothed, the innocent is not yet born, not yet touched by corruption or physical reality. Thus the seeker, as the innocent, sees a dream world, rich and full, waiting to manifest, pure potential awaiting action. The seeker is about to embark upon a new cycle. The creative waters of birth are about to burst forth. Yet the seeker must see equal parts of dream and reality, remain balanced so as not to leap into a fantasy with no footing, no stability. While the innocent is about imagination, vision, and freedom, he is likewise about stability. Dreams must be anchored in a practical approach, grounded in reality. If the innocent is facing a card, it suggests movement toward that situation, while facing away suggests flight in the opposite direction. If the innocent is reversed, and it's not, so I will skip that part, and that's it. All of that is the innocent, and the innocent is facing the sun. This is interesting. The innocent is a snake, and it's facing the sun. Behind the sun is an owl with a sword that is going. It looks like it's going to slay the snake. And speaking of Osiris, that is Apep and Horus? Question mark. The snake representing chaos, the bird representing order. But they both meet in the sun. And it feels like as they meet in the sun, that dynamic is reborn or it's changed. It's different. I don't know. Night Rob. Manual labor. You. I would be asleep if I weren't doing this. Well, I'll try to not keep y'all up too late because I also have to go to work tomorrow and I also have a lot of manual labor to do. Ooh, I got to do all the stuff I didn't do before. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I got to leave at 5. I got to leave at 4 to be where I need to be by 5. So I'm going to get final cards from every single deck as I put them away. This one I'm going to split, so because the deck is split. So I'll give it one more shuffle. I'll give it a 3 cut. And then I will split these cards. I think this is in half. Did I eat? The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. The bottom of this half of the deck is the Ten of Wands. And we see the sun, the moon, a comet streaking towards the moon, a man on a coffin with a cross on a coffin, standing on a cross with 2 swordfish in the water. At the top, it's the 4 of Swords. Very much like the 10 of Swords. So it feels like this is where this man is trying to go, but these 2 swordfish are sort of in the way. And swordfish being both water and air, it feels like the way there's some kind of interaction between thought and emotion. And anxiety can be one of the things where it's like where a thought provokes an emotion. And if the anxiety is bad enough, the thought can provoke an emotion so strongly that it leads to a physical response in the body. And if it's strong enough, the thought can provoke an emotion. The thought can provoke an emotion that leads to a physical response that it's so debilitating that it interferes with action being taken or passion being sort of it can the air can hit the water hits the earth hits the fire, and it's a whole mess. Can't be. But this time it feels like Peter is going to walk on water for some reason. He feels reborn. And the way he's looking at the swordfish, it's like he's not afraid anymore. Or it's like these won't hold him back anymore because the door is open. And something is calling him or someone. Is that the orb of the innocent in the sky? I don't know. You discern for yourself what it is. The meatless jerky is pretty good. Pull you a card. Which deck do you want me to use? I can pull one as I put these away. The Two of Cups is at the bottom of the other deck. The card at the top is the Priestess of Dreams. What's that song? Someday or somewhere beyond the sea? Two of Cups, Two of Wands, Nine Swords. Two of Cups, Two of Wands at the top or at the bottom? At the bottom. The Priestess of Dreams, the Two of Cups. Why does this make me think of 222? Oh my gosh. Two is the Priestess, Two of Cups, Two of Wands. 222. All right. It makes me think of the Egyptians. The Egyptians. It makes me think of the Israelites crossing the Red Sea. Oh, Peter. Peter. Okay. I was like, why is the Bible on the brain? Peter walking on water. But it makes me think of Moses parting the sea for the Israelites to walk through. And it's almost like if there's any hesitation, then the water will sort of like close in. But it's like they are in full motion, believing, knowing that this priestess will open a way, will make a way. And so they're just going for it. And then the one in the back is like sort of waiting, the silhouette. And that it just makes me think it's like it's not our job to know the how. We don't take care of the how, the divine does. And so when inspiration strikes, when we get that nudge, when we know that it's time to go, just like Vanth, at the critical moment, we will have everything that we need, or it will be easily accessible when that critical moment comes. Trust that there will be ground beneath your feet and just walk. Or if there won't be ground, then you will have you won't fall. Maybe you just walk on the water, walk on air. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. The Sweat Lodge. Who's going next? The Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators. We'll go next. I'll pull you a card from the last deck, Russ. The D&D one. The Dungeons and Dragons Tarot. Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators. What have you to say? Your parting word, please, if you don't mind. Harmonic resolution. Harmonic resolution and emotional freedom. Harmonic resolution is negativity, anger, and transmutation. Emotional freedom is vulnerability, flowing, and rebalancing. So I guess the anger and the negativity could be a result of a lack of vulnerability or something that's being like held. And so to transmute that, it requires some kind of, it's almost like to not overboil something, you lift the the lid to release some of the steam. Number 12, no, 19, harmonic resolution. Harmonic resolution resonates to the thickness and heaviness of the lower dimensions. This can cause disturbances and scattering of energies and over identifications with emotions of frustration, anger, isolation, and confusion, which disrupt the auric field. Divine light codes transmute these emotions, diffusing and disarming lower emotional states, and return the auric field to harmony, peace, and serenity. You need to acknowledge some of the lower level emotions, hidden negativity, frustration, and confusion that may be a factor right now. Release any unfocused and distracting mental chatter. Breathe deeply and diffuse excess mental and emotional energies to regain your balance. You may also have attracted people in your life who are operating from lower vibrations, and you need to disconnect from this. Companion crystals are rhodonite and shungite, with Palo Santo being the companion essential oil. Oh, look, we got another water nymph, water something, playing in the water. Emerge. It's the emergence. And with this, it's almost like, because I'm looking at these letters. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It looks like it's distorting. It's right here. And Gaian Awakening. It feels like whatever this is, it's like pulling everything sort of in. So it can't fully. But again, it's almost like receiving in part or translating in part, because of where we still have these emotional sinks. And like how I was talking about, sometimes you start in the crown, sometimes you start in the heart, and ultimately they all need to be in a certain level of functioning to receive something in its entirety anyway. This is that, the bottleneck. This is the point where things start to sort of go down the drain. And it's wherever energy is sort of held in the body in a way where it starts to stagnate and lead to emotional, mental, physical ailments, pains, whatever. So many decks to put away. I'm going to put away the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot next. I hope I got all the cards. Excuse me. Uh, uh, I love flying. I love it. I've only done it a handful of times, but I love it. I love it so much. Okay. Ooh, what am I going to dream about tonight? If I dream tonight, I'm going to be so tired. Wild Unknown. Ooh, that was quick. The Six of Cups with the Four of Cups at the bottom and the Lovers. This is interesting. It feels like if we can find a way, this is a 646. If we can find a way to marry the Six of Cups and the Four of Cups, we'll have 10 cups. But it's almost like there's something in the root that we would love to, that we don't explore. So this is an incomplete view of the self, or it can lead to an incomplete view of the self. Either that, or like it's like we don't share the best parts of ourselves. We don't share the color. We're not as open and vulnerable. And so because of that, because there's something that we withhold or something that we don't show, it's almost like all that would be attracted to that would be drawn in by that, it remains lost, with no beacon, with no way home. But at the same time, I don't think it's to necessarily rush it. It feels like the color will soak into the roots and grow up the trunk at some point. In its time. In its time and in its season, the leaves will show their colors. In the fall, in the autumn, in the season of harvest. Energy Oracle cards are getting put away next. They're getting put away next. Oh, snap. Your parents appeared in a dream? Together? What? I don't remember who it was, but I saw somebody in a dream, or somebody was telling me that somebody had lost somebody in a dream. I don't remember who it was. I don't know. Energy Oracle cards. What say you? Ooh. Okay, we got a few cards. We got everyone's favorite. Ooh. Patience upright. 7th chakra Archangel Uriel in reverse. Patience upright. Crown chakra in reverse. Patience upright with crown chakra in reverse. It feels like something that we're not yet capable of receiving. Maybe because we lack the experience to understand, or maybe because we lack the openness and expansiveness to allow something to be what it is, to approach it unfiltered, basically. Almost like it would be distorted in some way if we were to get it now. But at some point, the clarity and understanding will come in. Or it can be something that we've already received, but that we haven't yet quite worked out. And I can see that. With the crown chakra in reverse, message already received, patience upright, we're still working through it, we're still breaking it down. It's gestating in the heart and through the crown, processing in the heart, because there's a clock on that. I don't know if it'll focus where you can tell, but it looks like there's a clock on our heart. So that's where the message is processing right now. Bottom of the deck is the magician in the mirror. The magician in the mirror makes it feel like as this message is processing in the heart, it's like manifesting in the world in some way. Or something. And then attachment is behind magician in the mirror. I think this is why it's still working its way through the heart. Or the message in the message received from the crown, it's like as the heart is processing it, oh, what is that? It's like it's like, oh, what is it? It's like if you have a disc Oh, that's what it is. It's like back in the day, um, when you had like a cleaner, and so you would put something on the CD cleaner. You would put the CD cleaner on the CD, and then you would put it in a CD player, and as it spins in the player, it would like clean the CD or something like that. It's like that. Like the message received from the crown is the CD. The CD player is the heart. Something is the cleaner, or it's the CD and the cleaner. And it's like as it's going through the heart and as it's being processed in the heart, it's simultaneously like cleaning the heart. Or it's like it's breaking up plaque or something like built up in the heart space. And so I don't know if it's like manifesting, and I guess like there are like these little energy thingies coming off of the heart. You see them like right here and right there. Oh, it's focused now. Thank you. And it's like as it's doing that, it's simultaneously helping us release these attachments to get over these blockages or whatever. So it feels like a very complex download that has multiple functions within it. And part of the thing itself is to clean the player to be able to play it or to be able to read it. It cleans the player, it doesn't clean the CD. There's nothing wrong with the message, it's the receiver. It's not even the receiver. And it's not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just so that we get more of the message. But it's very that, which is cool, which is interesting. And that's why I think with patience, it's just like we sort of work through it in time. We don't have to rush an understanding because as we sit and as it marinates, it does what it needs to do. And it's almost like an extended release tablet, or it's like Willy Wonka's full course meal bubblegum or whatever. Each layer of the message offers something new. Maybe each layer of the message will affect a different part of the energetic body or something like that. It's like as it drops through all of the chakras, it'll sort of clean them, cleanse them, it'll align them in a way so that by the time it works through to the root, now we have this clear channel where if it comes in again, it'll just drop right through. Or like coming up, going up from root to crown or whatever. Wherever there is a blockage, it'll work through it. Like fluid through a pipe. Like what's a pipe cleaner? What's a good pipe cleaner? Drano. Like Drano through a pipe. It'll break up the whatever is in clogging the pipe. Next is the Enchanted Map Oracle. Enchanted Map Oracle, what say you? And also, too, like along the same vein, don't try to rush an understanding. Allow it to percolate. Sit with it. Meditate on it. Baking soda and vinegar. I need to get some of that. Enchanted Map Oracle, what say you? Oop. Enchanted Map Oracle said, Patrick, you need to go to bed. You gotta work tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I know. Enchanted Map, there we go. Thank you. I think I've gotten this combination of cards before. Dry Desert is the card that came out. Stuck in the mud is the card at the bottom of the deck. And then balancing act is behind stuck in the mud. So it feels like this feels like waiting for something. And something has encountered delays. So we continue waiting. Also, I was literally just talking about this. Mud baths, elephants taking mud baths. This is something that the elephant has to do to survive long enough in the heat of the desert to make it to this person. We've got an elephant, not a camel. So something about the environment, there's like an environmental mismatch here. Maybe the elephant's found an oasis, and the elephant is like, I can't put enough mud on my body to cool me off in this desert. Elephant is like, can you move? Can you get out of the desert? I'll be able to get there quicker if you're not in the desert. I'll be able to leave the mud because I don't know if the elephant will be able to get enough mud on itself to survive the desert. So maybe that just goes to speak of like if there is something that we're wanting, wishing for, manifesting, there may be something about the place or the space or the energy that we're in that makes it difficult for that thing to manifest. And it's not that it won't, and it's not that it can't, because there are some things that it can do to try to come in. But it feels like if we were to put ourselves in a more favorable environment, it might make it a little easier. And that could be an external environment, it can be an internal environment, it could be a state of mind, it can be emotional patterns and habits, it could be literally like a job, it could be a location. Maybe there aren't a lot of opportunities for X where you are, so you got to move somewhere where, like, I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of time and it's nearly there now. I don't know. Use your discernment. Use your discernment. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh, that was quick. I didn't even get a full shuffle. Relocate and ascend. That was in the releasing card, I think. It was releasing and forgiveness. Those were the ones that I didn't read. It's elephant trunk in German. You can't cool down. Have you tried mud? The self. The self again. No, the self will come out or flip out again if it's well. The self is here. I had barely started shuffling and it flipped right back over. Okay. The wild unknown archetypes. What say you? Final word, please. Okay. That lazily fell out. The nectar in reverse. The hunter in reverse. The nectar in reverse and the hunter in reverse with the self that came out. Something within the self has grown, changed, or expanded to the point where the things that used to call us may not necessarily call us anymore. Actually, because both of these are reversed, it's like the things that used to call us now repel us. Like we go in the opposite direction. Or it's like that's still the case, But it's like these things establish the pathway. An apocalypse is here under the hunter in reverse. It could be that, or it could just be like not going after the things that we really want, the things that we truly want, the things that speak to us on a soul level. And the hunter in reverse would be some kind of avoidance to that. This is an avoidance for whatever reason, for whichever reason. But the key is the self. And I think Rob said it in one of his readings. Something that was like, what we desire says something about us, or something like that. And we might be afraid of, I think that actually came out in this reading too, with the Knight of Charisma and the Knight of Wisdom. Maybe not. I think it did. Or maybe it was recently. It's like we might be afraid of what our desires sort of say about us. So too, like, might we be afraid that we won't actually accomplish them, so we continue to play small. It did come out earlier. We continue to play small so that we're not disappointed. Why get our hopes up to be disappointed? You know, we'll save ourselves the agony and just be disappointed instead of risking disappointment. Next, the Gilded Terror. Excuse me. Either way, there's a call for some kind of authenticity there. And that might play on the elephant stuck in the mud too. Because was that one of the ones before? I think that was the one before. It was like something like your light, your truth, your authenticity. That was the Six of Cups, I think. All that makes you vibrant, and the colors that were in the Six of Cups, those are the colors around the self. Those were the aspects of the self that remain hidden. But because they're hidden, some of the things that are to find us can't find us. Because that is the beacon. Those are the very things that draw what we truly desire into us. So in a running away and in an avoidance of the self, there's also a running away and an avoidance of the things that we truly desire. But we can consciously run and avoid for many a reason. Right? Oh gosh, no, too many. We were doing so good. We were doing so good. The Five of Cups comes out, and then the Queen of Cups flies on top of the Oracle, and then all these cards come out in reverse. We'll read them. Why not? The Five of Cups, the Queen of Cups literally flew across my little table to sit on top of the ancestors. With the Queen of Cups being the intuitive pre-high priestess energy, maybe she has some connection to the ancestors, or the ancestors can speak to her a little bit more freely. And it's almost like there's an ancestral energy that sees us where we are, or there's an ancestral energy that understands what we've inherited in the life that we live in some part, because they lived it too. Maybe they were the root cause of it. Maybe they also inherited it from their ancestors. Everything that came out in reverse, we have the Four of Cups in reverse and the Ten of Swords in reverse. We have the Chariot in reverse with the Queen of Swords in reverse, the Six of Cups in reverse, and the King of Swords in reverse. Queen of Swords, Chariot, Six of Cups, King of Swords. The mind is all messed up. This is literally all air and water. Four of Cups, 10 of Swords, Five of Cups, Queen of Cups, Six of Cups, King of Swords, the Chariot, Cancer, Water, Cardinal, and the Queen of Swords. Was that not the thing about anxiety? And how sometimes those were the swordfish. Those were the swordfish that barred Peter's way when he needed to walk on water to make his way through that Four of Swords portal. And he was being called by someone, maybe being called by the ancestors. It's time for this cycle to end. It's time for this hold and these chains to break within this family. And it's time for you to be the one to do that. What you've been working. Hold on, wait. You've been working, waiting. This what you've been praying for. Go get it. It's your time. But it can sometimes be difficult to have a spirit guide or an ancestor or someone not in the physical there trying to uplift you, and to not have someone there in presence, in flesh, blood and bone right in front of you saying you got this. Even if we know that there are people that support us, to have no one in our immediate environment, sometimes it can be difficult. Everything on the left is a sword, by the way. Everything on the right is a cup. That wasn't intentional. It just happened. I was going to say everything on the left is like, we got all these blues. This is what I see. See all these like blues? Because the cards were stacked on top of each other, it's all the swords. And then everything on the right, it's all these like greens and oranges. But it's almost like because the ancestors themselves are ready, because the world itself is ready, because there's so much new, where there may have been a bond and a tie that would, like an attachment, that would almost pull us back. It's almost like now there's this tailwind that is pushing us forward. And the Fool is at the bottom of the deck with the Ace of Cups behind that, and the Ace of Wands behind that, and the Nine of Cups behind that. But the Fool, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands. Look at this. Whatever that planet is, it's on fire here. That was a lot, but okay. There are so many energies that are working towards a shift and working towards a change. It feels like even some that would have traditionally or at some point would have been against it or would have struggled to accept it, even some of those are like, it's time to go, it's time to change. It's time to proceed with the next phase. So next is the All Winter Oracle. We're going to put this away. All Winter Oracle. What do you got to say? The sun just came out there. What? It's so late here. We ain't got no sun. We ain't going to have sun for 6 to 7 more hours. So let's see. All Winter Oracle, what you got for me? For us. What do you have for us? I'm curious as to who y'all are, but y'all ain't come out, so I ain't gonna tell you. Those are the rules. You gotta hit the table or flip over in the deck. You gotta make a little more noise than that. But don't scream at me. You don't have to yell. Oh, look at this one. I'm gonna take it, but I haven't seen either one of these cards yet. Communication. Oh my gosh, communication was the card that created that bridge. Going back to the ancestors, that's the Ten of Swords in the Mystical Dreams Tarot. The horned beast with the horns of the crescent moon forming a bridge between the waking and dream realities. Communication with the ancestors. Communication is the bridge. The bottom of the deck is story. So I don't know if there is an ancestor that somebody has, or just like ancestors in general are coming forward in a way to communicate truths that were sort of like lost as time progressed. Maybe to communicate some things that weren't convenient for a certain narrative that was being spun. It just feels like pieces of truth were lost. But did that not also come out before? Hey Esther, how you doing? I don't know why this is help her in review. 510 in the UK. Oh snap. What was it? Oh, I feel like that came out earlier. I don't remember. I think there's another part in this too, where that could be a part. I think also it's like going back to us like fearing what a certain desire might say about us, or us not wanting to follow up on some things for some reason. It's like the stories that we tell ourselves and the stories that we tell other people also communicate something about us. That did come out. It was old traditions and something else. Old traditions, memories, and purpose. Those were the cards that first came out. Old traditions, memories, and purpose. And it's like there may be some traditions that we still do, but the reason behind it may have been lost. Or it's like either we remember the tradition, but we forgot the reason. And I couldn't remember what the second one was. I was like, this is one of two things. I only remembered the first one. The second one slipped my mind. Under story is yes. Not quite sure what that yes is. Glad you could catch me too. I'm about to go to sleep though. It is like 11 here. It's 11:15 or 23:15. If you're used to a 24-hour clock. I think there's also there's a thing about the way we communicate things. So I think that was one of the things I touched on. I can't remember. But it's like sometimes there's a tradition that's passed on or a story that's told for the purpose of remembering something. I don't think I think I talked about cultures that have pictures of their ancestors to keep the memory of their ancestors alive, to keep their ancestors tethered, or to give them presence and a place to sort of be or go to. And I specifically talked about Coco. and how in that movie that was like one of the central plot themes, if not the central plot theme. Well, one of them. It was a part of the plot. But I know that there are other cultures too that also will do like shrines or will have a place to put pictures or other things of their passed on loved ones. Uh, but communication and story, like story is a way to communicate. Narrative and storytelling is a way to communicate certain things. And it can also be a way to communicate certain things in a not extremely straightforward way. So it's like it's a way to hand down, it's a way to pass down information. But if there was ever a censor, or if there was ever a certain suppression, then it would allow for those things to continue to be passed on, but to not trigger the censor and to not be silenced. Story is also very powerful in shaping an especially impressionable mind. Story is one of the greatest things we sort of have as humanity. Like the power of narrative is immense. The power of narrative is huge. Not only in our formative years, but even after that. It might also be about us communicating our story or telling our story, sharing our story. There you go. Share your story too with communication. If you share your story, going back to the last one, where it's like it might be difficult if you don't have someone there in person to encourage you. It's like another way that we help each other when we're vulnerable, going back to the vulnerability that's needed to reach that harmonic resolution and to dissolve and break down some of that anger. Speaking of the message that drops in through the crown to heal the heart, but to also empower and bolster and upgrade or whatever. See, now it's starting to all sort of tie together. Um, Sharing our story is one of the ways that we help each other not feel so left out, alone, or alien, or foreign, or whatever. Sharing our story could also have the power to bring us closer together. And when we share our story, we reclaim the power of that narrative rather than relying on someone else to share our story. We get to give our own account. Now, fair too, someone has to be willing to listen. Or it's also to understand that people are going to interpret it in whatever way they interpret it. So you don't have to get frustrated necessarily at it being taken a certain type of way. And now, Russell, I have reached the Dungeons and Dragons tarot. They have ancestor altars there, yeah. Like in that place in particular, because I know Coco was set in Mexico? Question mark. The Bard yesterday. What about the Bard yesterday? I don't remember. She actually believed she was fragile. No. Okay. So for Russell, South America. South America, what do you have for Russell? South America. South America for Russell. Release me to my sleep. Ooh, You got a page. I've seen this page. It might be the page of wisdom. It might be the page of intelligence. It could be the page of strength, or I'm pretty sure it's not the page of charisma. But since I'm so sure it's not the page of charisma, it's probably the page of charisma. It is not the page of charisma. Yes. Whoop, whoop. It is not the page of wisdom. It is, in fact, the page of intelligence. You get the page of intelligence. It says discovering new ways of communicating your ideas and putting them into action. The D&D encounter is a wizard wants you to find her some rare spell components. A wizard wants you to find her some rare spell components. Interesting. So finding rare spell components, because she looks like a tinker, because of her goggles, she looks like she's an inventor. Um, so I don't know if there was like a spell that you were crafting, that you were building, and you were testing it, and maybe it always fizzled out, or it didn't quite go the way you thought it would. But it might have been because of a missing ingredient. Now, every ingredient has a purpose. So I don't know if one is like, it makes me think of like a binding agent that is highly heat resistant, so that if there is something that is in a situation with high heat, it won't fall apart because the binding agent continues to keep it together. Or it's something about the environment. There's something about the environment and the materials, almost like the dry desert and stuck in the mud, but different. But the thing about these materials, again, is that like they're hard to come by. So there was a little bit of a trial and error sort of phase. There was figuring something out. It wasn't that there was a lack of information necessarily, because it feels like she didn't necessarily start from scratch. But maybe there was something needed that she didn't quite understand, or going back to how the Romans built things that were weather resistant. It's like they tried to recreate recipes from Roman times, and they couldn't get anything that could withstand the wear of sea salt in the water. And then one day somebody was like, wait, if the ancient Romans used water, it probably had salt in it. They didn't necessarily have access to an abundance of fresh water. And so when you use the water that they would have had, it actually works. And so again, it's almost like, I don't know, something not necessarily missing, but it's like it feels like something so easy to miss, or something such a minute detail. Um, but maybe there'll be a rare ingredient that you find in wherever you're going, and it'll actually get something to work. It might even be something that, not that you had given up on, but maybe something that you just like kind of forgot about. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, it might just come to you too. It may just come to you someday. Maybe there was something you were working on a while ago, or something that you've been working on, or inspiration finds you. Maybe you will be one of the ones that inspiration finds as it is doing whatever it does. So There you go. Excuse me. Hopefully that helps you in some way. So, with that, I hope you all have an excellent whatever whenever you see this. The bard was a sorcerer, but the bard was also a storyteller. Oh. Because I remember going like, oh, this could be a warlock, a sorcerer, or a bard. And there was high wisdom. So I think I ended up going for the sorcerer because of the mystic. I actually read something about when I was looking it up. I read something and they were talking about a bard, and they said a bard doesn't have to do just music. A bard could be a storyteller. A bard can do many things. And then I was like, I was like, I need something that tells me everything in general, not about the bard specifically. Because I was just like, what are some good charisma classes? And then they were talking about how a bard can do more than just sing songs. But at the same time, bards also communicate things. If a bard is telling a story or if a bard is singing a song, it's usually about the triumphs of a hero or the woes of someone or some great tragedy or anguish or something. Like bards spread news, spread rich histories in their travels, shared cultures with other cultures as they went from land to land to land. Um, they also were privy to a great deal of information, I'm sure, as they traveled. They spread the news in a lot of ways. So there you go. There you go. No problem. And thank you. Excuse me. Again, I hope you all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. And whatever you need along your path, journey, or way, whoever you need to be there for you in whatever way you need someone, I hope you find it. And when the time comes, I hope you're able to see all the ways in which you've been prepared. And I hope it makes it a little easier to be, at least a little easier, to be brave and courageous and to do the thing, to show you that you're much further than you think you are and extremely capable. And that tomorrow could, in fact, be today.